Welcome. Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Getting everything fired up. Welcome to Anonymous Live 44. We're going to be here for the next 2 hours taking calls from strangers. We're going to be here listening to stories from people going through things. We'll be listening to confessions. We'll be listening to whatever people call in with. So long as you don't give us your name, location, we will have a conversation. If you break those rules, we toast you. It's for your own good. Toast sounds like this. And we don't love hearing that sound here, but it's never fun, but it makes it more palatable with the toaster sound effect. We've got the stream up and running from a new system tonight, so hopefully no audio issues. Hopefully those are behind us. Please let me know if you do experience any interruptions. This is our first time running from this new machine. Lines are opening now. Get your phones ready. We've got a 1-800 number here you can call at the bottom of the screen. And shortly, calls will start rolling in and we will get going. I must say the desk, it looks a lot cleaner without my laptop here. With just the keyboard. I do prefer the way that looks. Just feels like there's more. Okay. Seems like everything's going smoothly. There's nothing scarier than starting a stream from a new machine. This is pretty nerve-wracking, but this should, in theory, be much more stable. Great. Okay, everything should be ready to go now. Give it a minute when you call in. If you have not called in before, press 1 when you call in and get the first some instructions in there just because we hate toast so much. So if it's your first time calling in, hit 1 at the menu. Make sure you listen to the prompts. And we try to keep calls here to about 30 minutes long. Sometimes that rule gets broken, but we have an unofficial rule of 30 minutes. And we find that most people can get what they're looking for in that amount of time. We're not here to fix people. We're not here to... We can't fix your problems. We can't heal you. But we want to be good neighbors here. We believe that listening is really powerful. And we try to create a place here where people can talk about whatever they need to. We realize that certain things are difficult to talk about. We've had a lot of people say that they... have been able to get things off their chest here that they wouldn't be able to do in therapy. This is not a replacement for therapy. And this is just a place where we try to be good neighbors. We listen. And every night here is beautiful. Each one of these is beautiful. We never know what we're getting into. Phone lines should be open now. Of course, I'm not. This is the first time running from this machine, so watch me mark. Watch me eat my words there, saying this should be more stable, and then watch us have problems with the phone lines. I think they should be open. Double checking. Let's make sure I have the notifications for the calls on. That's it. So, everything appears to be good. Which one of you needs to talk tonight? Which one of you is going to call in? I should bring Jeffrey on one of these streams. You guys don't want to see Jeffrey at an anonymous live stream. Jeffrey would be so rude to all the callers. Jeffrey would traumatize people more. My goodness. Oh boy. That is a funny idea. I've shown this off in other streams, but since we're waiting on our first caller tonight, we'll do a little show and tell here. This one gets a lot of comments. This was sent to me by a fan in 2010 or somewhere around there, 2011. And it's just the level of detail on this thing is amazing. I've kept it in such good shape. It's got a little sticker that says to Julian, but there's nothing on the other side. I really wish the person who made this had given their name. There's nothing on the other side, so I have no idea who made this, but I've taken very good care of it. If the creator ever surfaces, I will sing their praises. I'm going to test this phone line to make sure it's set up. If nobody needs to call in, we're not going to force anybody to, but is working. Let's see, what's my own number here? I'm testing this. Now I'm begging trolls to call in, I guess. But if you call in and troll, you will get toasted, even if it's a slow night. Okay, yeah, that's my phone number. I got it. And we're just testing this to make sure things are ringing to the desk. They should be. I tested this earlier. Let's see. You would like more information about this process. The extension number you have entered does not exist. Hello. Why is that? Maybe something. If you were a first-time caller. Thing. In fact, the day that people stop calling in would be a sad day, because I do love these streams. But if nobody were calling in, that would mean we're in a better world, right? So that's not too bad. We'll just hang out. We'll hang out and wait. Everything is working as planned. Got a nice big machine here running this stream. No lags, no audio issues. How's everybody's week been? Mine has been crazy. There's too much going on. Traumatization is the best when it comes from Jeffrey. That's funny. Yeah, we'll do a separate stream before Anonymous Live where Jeffrey traumatizes people and then they need to call in and talk about it. Good joke. If there's one thing Jeffrey's good for, it's upsetting people. In fact, one time Jeffrey's done a couple of autograph signings, and he always is rude to people. It's kind of hard to watch. Thank you, Liam Davidson, for that comment. Welcome. What qualifies me to give life coaching sessions? I give a limited number of... I spend a small amount of my time doing life coaching for very specific issues. I've gone through a lot. I've gone through a ton. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. But I do offer a limited number of life coaching sessions. I spend a small amount of time doing that. To believe that things I've experienced can mean that other people can be for more than nothing. I don't want to think that hard things I've gone through are for nothing. So I try to pay it forward with that. I make an effort to hear about what people are going through before I take them on. And it takes up a small amount of my time, but it's a great question. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Grobe Spirits Indianer. That was from you. I see that from David Moore. David, are you experiencing audio outages tonight? We shouldn't be. We're running from a much bigger machine tonight. It's been about a week and a half in the making getting the stream up on this. For anybody. Yeah, it looks like a couple of people are saying that. Audio cutting out. Check, 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 check. Well, I'll put it this way. If it's not... if it's cutting out on this stream, it really has to be YouTube, because this machine is like 12 times more powerful at least than the laptop I used to be running from. And I'm only using I'm not even using a tenth of this machine's power on this stream. So maybe there's some YouTube changes going on that have, maybe I should have just stayed on the laptop. I've spent all this time changing over to the big machine. Maybe it made no difference. Maybe I should have just kept on the laptop. How big a machine? Terminator big or worse? This is definitely Terminator big. It's a pretty powerful machine. This thing's crazy. It's got an insane video card. It's got 128 gigs of RAM, several terabytes of solid state drives. This thing's crazy. There should be no problems. And I'm hardwired into a fiber connection, no Wi-Fi. So it should just be, I mean, like, everything says it's, I'm in like green right now. I'm not even in yellow. I can try this. There's a few people saying there's some audio issues. Let's see if this fixes. I'm going to try turning one thing off, because there are some plugins that might be not very high quality running. Let me try turning some of those off, see if that fixes anything for you guys. Check, check. Okay, let me know if that worked. I just changed something just now. Let me know if you guys hear any more audio hiccups. If you hear any audio hiccups, just put it in the chat so I can know. This is our first time running from this computer, so there may be some settings that aren't right. Getting this stream up on this computer has been my #1 goal for the last week and a half. So I've done all the things. I actually rebuilt this PC, took it apart and put some new components in it just to make sure it was bulletproof. Everything's been tested, but this is the first time we're really doing it, so who knows? That from Nebulous Haze. Yes, the number is toll-free. You won't be charged for calling it. If you are an international caller, there is a chance you will get charged for it, and it should not be that way. This is another thing on my massive to-do list here for Anonymous Live. You guys should see my to-do list for this project. It's like it doesn't get any shorter. It just keeps getting longer. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Let's try something. My bit rate. So So, maybe that was contributing some audio problems. Maybe I got cocky. It wasn't even a big bit rate. I was doing a little bit over what they recommended, so I'm turning it down. Just trying to tweak anything I can that could be responsible. Yeah, I was saying that my to-do list here never gets shorter. It just keeps getting longer. And one of the things that I've been trying to get to for a couple weeks now is the number is toll-free in the States, and it should be toll-free internationally. I'm paying for that service. It's toll-free to over 100 countries. But for some reason, certain callers have been charged after calling in. And I've hosted a couple meetings with some people internationally that have been charged for it. I am encouraging, if you're an international caller, maybe consider don't call in or call in from Skype until we get that figured out why that's not functioning. Again, it should be internationally toll-free, and I'm not sure yet why it's not working. This whole project is a labor of love, guys, so thank you for your patience as I'm constantly optimizing things here. The longer this thing goes on, the more challenging it gets, but I'm here every week, 3 times a week. I'm not giving up. Here we go. Certainly a slow night for calls. It worked when I called in, but it's okay. There's no problem. Episode, but it's okay. I can try to think of something we could do while we wait, but I don't want to get into anything that would deter people from calling in. Okay, here comes some calls. I've got to turn off those notification sounds. Hi, thanks for calling.
Hi, how's it going?
I am well. How are you tonight?
Going all right. Not expecting the call to actually go through.
Yeah, we were just chilling here waiting for calls to start coming in. We had a little bit of a slow start tonight, but it's no worries. We are glad you called. What's on your mind? Can we start with your age, and then you can tell us what you're calling about?
Yeah, I'm 23, and I don't know, I'm just calling about like a bunch of kind of family issues. Hold on, could I put you on hold for like 5 seconds?
Of course.
Okay.
Oops, that was a false alarm. That laugh was not supposed to happen. Sorry, I'm typing. I need to change that hotkey. I was not laughing at you, caller, I promise.
Sorry, what?
Oh, I did it again. Oh, I gotta really change that hotkey. There's another thing for the to-do list. I keep triggering my soundboard while I'm typing. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all good. Yeah, no, there's just like a lot of family stuff going on as far as like, basically like last year I've just been processing just some of the things that my like grandpa's done to me. He's kind of creep, and just slowly opening up to like my family members has been kind of tough. Just I don't know. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't really know how to process that.
What happened with your grandfather?
He molested me when I was 5, about, and
Wow.
I've got a 4th of July party, so it's kind of, this time of year is always kind of rough.
Right.
Yeah.
Do your parents know about this?
They do, yeah.
How did they respond to that?
Them. They responded pretty well. Like initially, but I can really tell that it's like grinding on my mom, and because it was my mom's dad, and I'm living with my mom right now, and it's just I don't know. It's just like kind of hard to talk to her without that being brought up, or just I don't know. It's just us two, and like I'd rather. I don't know. It's just kind of hard to live with someone when you like that's brand new info. You're even them, and yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, what would make this a good call? Do you want to just share about that experience, or do you want to vent something, or are you looking for ideas on how you might be able to find closure on this?
I guess I'm just trying to find like motivation to, you know, get back on track with my life, and I don't know, because it's just hard to like take steps to improve myself. I don't know if you had any advice that what kind of helps you in times of just when you feel stuck. And, yeah, I don't know.
So you think that I want to hear more about your life. I want to hear more about what you feel stuck in. Do you feel like your life? Do you feel like a part of your life was put on pause after that happened, and it's been hard to move past? I don't know how much you've been able to really process this. Have you had therapy? These are all questions coming to my mind.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been doing therapy for about a year, and like it's just hard to know if it's actually helping because I don't know, like doing trauma therapy just kind of makes things hard. Like I don't know, just a lot more anxiety and panic attacks, and um, just yeah. So I've just been working through it, and not sure how long it's supposed to take for some people, and yeah. Um, and I was doing a lot of videography before this, and have like a YouTube channel, and just I don't know, just love doing editing and shooting videos, and just that's not really on my mind anymore, and just started to get back into that creative groove when all this anxiety is, you know, like in front of my face.
Well, it sounds like you're lacking. Sounds like you're lacking closure with what happened. Is that right? Sounds like you never really
I guess
got clarity on what happened, or why it happened, or what people feel about it. Is that
yeah, I guess like it's kind of hard to find that closure, especially since this grandpa is dead.
I see.
Yeah, yeah, he passed away from brain cancer a year after that happened, and
Wow.
and he was like a bishop, um,
Oh
like
my goodness.
for church, and it just really scares me, like knowing what he might have done, what he probably would have probably done to a lot of other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's dense. What you're sharing is really dense. There's a lot to that. I mean, the biggest thing that's sticking out to me is that you've not been able to find closure with it. I mean, that makes perfect sense why you'd be feeling stuck after not.
Oh, sorry, it cut out for a second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I was saying it makes perfect sense why you'd feel stuck if you never got that closure from your grandfather, if you never got to talk about, like, hey, why did that happen? Or has this happened more than once or to other people? Or, like, what should I make of this? I mean, when we don't get those kinds of answers, it can get us stuck. And those are the hardest situations to pull yourself out of because it's on you to heal. It's on you to decide how you feel about it. It's on you to decide. You're when you don't get that closure that you deserve. I mean, to be very clear, you didn't. It's you didn't deserve for the things that happened to happen to you in the first place, but you also didn't deserve to lose.
And got out again.
Cutting out. Are you in a good signal area?
I should be, but yeah, I don't really know what's going on.
Okay.
Try to get in the bedroom.
Let's see here. Anybody else having audio issues? Please let me know in the chat if you're hearing audio issues. Again, this is the first time we're doing this stream from a new machine. Okay, a couple people are saying they're having audio issues. Let me see something here. I'll keep talking while I change a couple things. You know, your when you don't get closure for something like that, no matter what it is, anything that's serious that happens in life, when we don't get closure, it's on us to figure out how to move forward, and that's really difficult to do.
Right.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't tell if you were talking again. But yeah, like that. I feel like that's just really affected my day to day as far as like, just like video games is kind of my main vice. Just getting lost in them and just losing track of time and just I don't know how to like switch to something that's more I don't know, like more productive. Like I used to do yoga a lot, and it's just I just I want to get back on that and like running, and it's just like hard to find that what's it called, that motivation to get back to things that are actually a little more beneficial.
Are you, what made the yoga stop? What made you switch from yoga to video games?
I actually don't know. Like, I think I don't know. I think I was just getting more stressed out and like kind of dissociating, and I've got PTSD from all this, and so sometimes I just lose track of where I'm at. And for some reason, it's just a lot easier to go to video games than like setting up my workout routine. But
right.
But yeah, it's hard to like not blame the diagnosis. Because I feel like I just kind of blame the diagnosis in my head and kind of get comfortable with not taking action, if that makes sense.
In your eyes.
Sorry, my reception is probably just really bad.
No, it's not just you. The people are saying that I'm cutting out. They can hear you, but sometimes I cut out. I will look into that, but I'm trying to stay present here during the call. I apologize. I was asking what do you think that would look like? Being more proactive, or I can't remember exactly how you put it, but what would that look like to you?
Like sticking to like a schedule throughout the week and planning and exercise schedule and just to better manage my stress, hopefully, and hopefully get back to school. But that's like a far goal. I just want to know how to take care of my like physical health or like my mental health before I can jump on more serious things.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, makes me wonder what you think when I ask what it would look like to begin to forgive your grandfather. I don't know if you've done that or not, but I'm sensing that you're stuck, and I'm wondering if you've attempted to do that. Maybe you're still too confused to do that. Being that your grandfather's dead, that means a lot of different things. It means that you're safe and it won't happen again, so that's good. But it also means Guys,
It also means what?
I'm sorry, is it cutting out again?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna look into why it's doing that. I don't know why it's doing that. But I was saying that you, on the bright side, you'll never have to experience that again. You know, it's not such a bright side because your grandfather died, and I'm sure that you don't like that he died. But the point is that you're now safe from that. You don't have to worry about that happening anymore. But the worst part of it is that you'll never get to hear what an apology would sound like from your grandfather. You'll never get to hear him explain why certain things happened. And so it makes me wonder if you've began the process of trying to forgive him just for yourself.
Yeah. I don't even know what that really looks like. I'm still pretty confused about the whole thing. It wasn't even until like last year that I remembered it happened.
Wow.
I forgot to mention that. It was just a lot of repression and yeah, like I guess I am honestly like glad that he's gone, just so no one else could possibly go through this again in the future. And like, sorry, I'm just kind of, yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of lost for words right now.
No need to apologize. Um, well, it sounds like you have not thought about that. It sounds like you've not considered what forgiving your grandfather might look like. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it sounds like you just recovered this memory recently, so I'm not going to pretend to understand what that's like. That's really intense. Uh, is that around the time where this uh, lack of motivation and feeling stuck set in around a year ago?
Yeah, about. I've kind of gone through waves in and out, just throughout my life, and this is definitely the hardest kind of point of depression that I'm at. Um,
You know,
but
we'll in situations like that, it's really tough because we all go through things that we don't deserve. Of course, in your case, it's really, I would say, a severe experience. Like it's a family member. Your family is supposed to teach you the way to live. They're supposed to love you and guide you. And this thing happened to you when you were real and only recovered as an adult. And so I'm not going to pretend to understand what that's like. Um, however, uh, we all experience injustice to some degree, and we all can benefit from no matter how serious the offense is, whether someone stole from us or somebody hit us or somebody molested us or if somebody killed someone we loved. There's at some points there's nothing we can do besides uh, learn to forgive the perpetrator, even if they haven't apologized, just within your own heart, just for yourself, so you can say, look, like I'll never understand. This will never make sense to me. It's kind of acknowledging that this will never make sense to me. Um, and yet I'm not in my heart. I'm not going to let it breed any. Uh, I'm not going to let this wound fester. In other words, I'm not going to let this thing become infected. And I wonder what you think when I say that. Like the idea that you can just say, you know what, like, and it's not. I'm not claiming this is like you say it and it's gone. And it's like I'm not saying it's a really quick thing. It's very much a long-term process. Um,
right.
you know, a lot of people grow up being abused by parents, not always sexually. Um, a grandparent is similar, but different, I'd say, because your grandparents are supposed to be there and like they're supposed to be the fun parents that never have to discipline you and they just give you gifts and they show you a good time and they kind of they attempt to spoil you. That's what a grandparent is supposed to be. And so, again, like I'm not trying to pretend I know what it's like to be in your shoes. Um, when it's really difficult. I do think that's true. That's something everyone has to learn for one reason or another. And I am not saying it will be quick. I'm not saying it'll be easy. I'm glad to hear you're in therapy. I would say keep up the therapy. Um, you certainly won't get all you won't get all your answers on a short phone call here tonight with us.
Right.
But uh, I do believe it, from what I'm hearing, based on what I'm hearing, that a good mantra for you to carry forward might be to consider trying to forgive your grandfather. Since he's no longer here, you'll never get to hear that apology. You'll never get that explanation. And it's got you stuck. And it makes perfect sense why you feel stuck, because that's heavy. What you're sharing is heavy.
Cut out again after you said heavy.
I just said, where does your mind go when I'm saying these things?
It's kind of, I mean, I am feeling more anxiety just kind of thinking about it. And I feel like if I start saying, if I adopt that mantra, it'll take a while to kind of really believe it and drive us annoyed. Yeah, I just, yeah, I guess I'm just already feeling defeated, I guess. Like, whenever I am presented something like new advice, I'm like, oh, that'll never work, kind of thing. But I I could give it a shot though. Just before going to bed, just trying to think about. And
I don't want to overwhelm you. You're going through a lot. I'm trying to be very careful and sensitive. I don't know what it's like to be where you are, to be recovering these memories as an adult that happened so long ago. The J Fluffy from the chat says to you, keep on recovering at your own pace. And I think that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, there's no need to feel like you got to do this tomorrow. Makes me wonder how you think it would feel to just kind of march forward with this thought that, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow feeling better, and that's okay. I'm not going to wake up maybe next week and feel all the way better, and that's okay. But just embracing with kind of this mentality.
sorry, embracing that mentality. Cut out
Yeah,
again.
I'm sorry. Are you familiar with Stoicism?
A little bit.
Are you familiar with the Serenity Prayer?
No.
It says, grant us the serenity to accept that which cannot be changed, the courage to change what we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I might be mincing those words slightly, but it's a beautiful prayer. It basically means like the world is full of chaos, and Stoicism is this idea that things are going to happen that don't make sense. Things are going to happen that hurt. Things are going to happen that confuse us. Things are going to happen that have the potential to ruin us. And how do we change what we can and accept what we can't? And again, in your case, you're I don't want to discount the fact that you're just now uncovering all this stuff that happened to you so long ago as an adult. I'm going to keep saying that because it's true, and I sense that this is really heavy on your mind. I don't want to overwhelm you. Um, you know, Forgiving people is really hard, especially if you never got an apology. But I can guarantee you that people who do these things, they're not happy. The people that do these kinds of things and get away with it. I mean, I can't believe these people are happy and at peace with themselves. People do messed up things for messed up reasons, and the world is full of chaos because of that. I do want you to just chew on the idea of what it might look like to forgive your grandfather. And I'm not saying that's going to fix all your problems overnight, because it certainly won't. I also wonder, do you meditate at all? Are you familiar with meditation? Have you ever tried meditation?
I've done a little bit. Yeah, kind of fell off for a bit, but
Do you know? Go ahead.
oh, what?
Sorry, I'm just listening.
I wasn't really going anywhere with that.
There's a guided meditation series that I love by Health Journeys. This woman named Bella Ruth Napper-Stack. Are you familiar with that name? We talk about her a lot here.
I've heard you mention her a few times on other streams.
She sells these guided meditations. It's basically meditation made stupid simple, is what it is. Meditations are anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour long, and she has all different kinds of themes. I'm looking here on her website, she's got some for sleeping better, she's got some for relaxation and wellness, she's got some for anxiety and panic, she's got some for pain relief, she's got some for trauma, and I'm thinking of a number of titles in here that might help you ease the pain and confusion that you feel. If I were to put a link in the chat for you, would you check it out?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I'm going to do this. Hang on 1 second. Put this in the chat for you.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
if you go back to this part of the call in the chat, you'll see it in there for you. I want to read a couple things to you from the chat. Nebulous Haze says to you, you are going to get through this. You are amazing for coming on here and talking about this. You will find closure someday. Maybe not tomorrow, but you can work through this. Don't give up. I think that's so beautiful. That's essentially what I'm saying to you here. And then that guy, Rosar, says to you, set some small goals for yourself. You are in a great place to get your life back, and I genuinely hope you can make it the best it can be for you, caller. And I think these are beautiful thoughts. I hope you're hearing the heart in what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say that any of this is easy, because it's certainly not. You know, we host very short phone people out and give people a couple of ideas on what some small steps tomorrow might look like. And I'm glad to hear you're in therapy. I'm glad to hear you're open to some meditation. I cannot say enough good things about Bella Ruth Napper-Stack's work. I really hope you check her out. I mean, she's been invaluable to me, and a bunch of people in this community have gotten into her, and I have some life coaching, some people I'm working with in life coaching who've found her very beneficial. So again, like, you know, none of these things are going to like fix you. You will fix you. You will heal in time. And this is a very new thing for you. I get that. Like, you don't have memory of, you just recovered these memories. So I guess we're asking you to just be patient with yourself and don't give up, and try it. And just, I like the idea of just setting some small goals. If we set big goals, we get the small steps that are needed each day. So maybe think about some small goals and keep up the meditation. And I don't think video games are bad. You were asking about habits earlier. If you're spending all your time doing video games, maybe there's some other things you can give some time to make some mental health progress. But there's certainly nothing wrong with video games in my view. And there's, you know, it's everything in life is about balance. So I would say just go easy on yourself and take time and maybe work towards, and maybe it won't happen soon, but think about at least what else you would do. Maybe imagine yourself 20 years in the future. Imagine what else the options are, other than just acknowledging these things happened to me and it was out of my control. I was a small child, and these Dad, that was really fucked up, and I don't understand it, but you're not here anymore, and so I'm going to forgive you for me, so that this doesn't have to eat me alive. Uh, that's the thought I have for you.
Oh, thank you. And like also thanks for those comments, people in the chat. That was
The
really
chat,
nice.
yeah, maybe go back and read the chat after this is over. I leave the chats up on the on the video replay. It'll be up later. It takes a few hours for the chat to process with the video, but it'll be up after a few hours from now. It'll be up alongside it, and you can go back and read everything everybody said to you. It's a good thing for people to see. There's a lot of love going out to you. A lot of stuff I didn't get to.
It cut out again.
I was just encouraging you to read the chat. Go back and read it later because there's some beautiful stuff in there.
Yeah.
Are you feeling okay? I want to make this a good call. Is there anything else on your mind?
Yeah, I've got a couple things. I'm feeling pretty good. Sorry, give me one sec.
We're holding for the caller.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, and like, I guess kind of going back to like the video game stuff. I guess that self-talk for me is just kind of. I feel like I'm looking at myself from like the perspective of like my dad or like like brothers or something. Just seeing myself as kind of like wasting my time, and I guess that's kind of where that like I don't know, just like talking harsh to myself is coming from. Where like I should be doing more. Like I just kind of was raised with that like attitude to like you can always be doing something and improving. And it's hard to kind of dip in progression, I guess. And not always, yeah, it just sucks that like it's not always a linear line.
Right.
Yeah, that's just like the other thing that's just kind of stuck on my mind, trying to get over.
You're trying to develop a better sense of motivation, or you're trying to.
It got out again, but
I'm sorry. That's my fault, not yours. Thanks for telling me. I was saying, is it that you're struggling with motivation, or you're struggling to find better habits, or what is it?
I guess maybe it's just like um trying to describe, but like I guess just like going easy on myself and like not. I'm just too worried about how other people are seeing me and like seeing me kind of not making videos anymore or like really going out or working as much and just I just yeah I guess I'm just like yeah my self-worth I put too much of my self-worth in like um in I guess the things that I make and I just um I kind of lost my train of thought again but yeah
Yeah. So there's some self-consciousness happening. Is that what it is?
yeah I guess that kind of goes back to just knowing that it's not gonna take a day or so
Right.
a day or a week to go.
Did you say you were raised in some dogma that you some pressure rather to be doing more? Were you raised in some sort of guilt if you weren't doing enough or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to say like what religion I used to be part of.
Yeah, just no names, no locations.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was Mormon for uh most of my life. It was kind of like the last 3 years or 4 years that I've kind of been deconstructing that, and just like the war, the communities I've been in are just been very like a lot of pressure to like get projects done, or like you can always be doing more, and like just like laziness was like the worst thing you could. I don't know. Yeah, that I kind of just adopted, or like um yeah, it just kind of got to me, just like
Right.
yeah, and transitioning away from that, it's like hard to find purpose, and um yeah, yeah,
Well, your purpose is you. You are the purpose. Your purpose is whatever it is that you do for your community, for the world, the problems that you solve through your work. That's any themselves in ways that are valuable to others, to be good neighbors, to be uh, to be good workers. It sounds like you were raised in some hyper sense of uh, guilt over productivity, and it sounds like you. Yeah, I mean, I hear the voice of somebody very brave and deliberate. I hear the voice on the phone here, and I hear that you got out of some dogma that you were raised in. With it sounds like you were raised in some Mormon dogma, I'll call it, that you were not going to carry with you the rest of your life, and you have done the work to deconstruct that. And some of these other things that we grow up in can be more difficult to pinpoint because they don't have a name, they don't have a religion behind them, they don't have a book behind them, like then maybe something like a religion because there's no book behind it. It's just people's ideas, and they force them on people. They shove them down other people's throats. And
right,
but your purpose is you and your community, and it might take you time to figure out if you've been through a lot, so maybe your values are changing. Maybe that's why you've stopped doing some of the things you've done in the past. Maybe you need a little break. Maybe you need some new reasons for doing those things. Uh, I'm not sure what your profession is. We haven't gotten to that. That's okay. We don't have to. But the point remains the same that your purpose is to be the gladiator of you,
yeah,
nation of your family line. That's what you are, and you may have some beef with your family, and that's okay. But regardless, you're the champion of your family line. You are the latest, greatest version of your parents and their parents and their parents, all the way back to the beginning of time. And no one else carries on that torch of your family line. But you are the latest, greatest generation of your family line. And you will get to carry on those genes, those tendencies, those skills. And also, yeah, we all carry some baggage. We all carry some baggage that we have to overcome too.
mm-hmm.
But that's your purpose. Your purpose is to be the champion of your family line as the latest, greatest version.
Yeah. I really appreciate that.
Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, like definitely like trying to like kind of focus on myself more. Just realizing like sorry, that's another that happens to me a lot. Just kind of blank out a lot.
It's
But
okay. Take your time.
yeah,
Take your time.
yeah,
What does that thought feel like when you envision yourself as a gladiator of your family line? You're the only one that can do what you're here to do today. What does that feel like when you envision that? Does it feel any different from before? Or does it just feel overwhelming? Or
I mean a little overwhelming, but it doesn't feel impossible. Yeah, like, yeah, I guess that's all I can really say right now.
What are you good at?
I love video editing and lighting and music and just trying to get back into school and get a degree for get it certified for editing and yeah.
You love the arts. You love story.
Yeah, yeah.
That's beautiful. I mean, there's arguably no better.
Hey, so there's no better what?
There's no better outlet for pain and suffering than art.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder what stories you'll tell, what kinds of stories you'll be valuable to with the journey you've had. How can you take the things you've experienced, the difficult things, and turn those into answers for other people or questions, good questions for other people? That's what the best stories do. They ask a question, or they answer a question, or they introduce an idea. And I do hear a lot of pain in your voice. I'm taking my time here. I'm trying not to overwhelm you. I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't believe there would be any good in that. The confusion in your voice. I'm trying to pep you up that there's a lot to take pride in. And when I say, I realize pride is a complicated word. I mean like healthy pride. Like we have to take pride in things we care about. We take pride in our relationships. We take pride in our work. We take pride in our self work. And I'm trying to pep you up and encourage you that you've got that in you. You've got that champion spirit in you. Everybody has it. And yeah, life will try to stomp it out of you. Life will try to stomp out that champion. It'll try to get rid of it. And it's up to us to, only we can answer the questions we have. Your therapist can't fix you. I can't fix you. Questions that allow you to heal in your own time. And none of us know how long that'll take. But I'm trying to encourage you because everybody has a comparative advantage. Everybody has one. Everybody has something they can do that's valuable. And it sounds like maybe you've lost sight of that. It sounds like maybe you're struggling with how to be that person. But that person is in there. That person is in there. That person sounds like they were very motivated before these repressed memories resurfaced. Is that right?
Yeah, I was a completely different person.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder what it...
You wonder what?
I'll ask it as a question. Would it be worth... What would it be worth to take what you've learned forward and reconnect with that old you in a new way that's better and stronger and more wise because of the things you've come to understand, because of the things you've healed from, because of the things you've endured? What would that be worth? Would it be worth potentially forgiving your grandfather just for yourself? Would it be worth saying no to that confusion and saying, no, confusion, you will never make sense because you are confusion? if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I got you. Now that I really want to get back to that old version of myself. But that would definitely be worth the, you know, worth the work. And like, yeah, I just want to get there at some point.
Well, and you won't get to the old version. You'll get to a new version that's more integrated. I'm not saying you're gonna get in a time machine and become the you were a few years ago. I don't think anybody would want that. But it sounds like there's some things you've lost along the way that you could reconnect with and take forward in this new you that's stronger and wiser.
Yeah. Um, yeah, sorry, I don't really know what to say.
I want to say to you, just take your time, be easy on yourself, and do things for you. I like to recap some of the small things. Some of the things we talked about are doing making small goals every day. Small goals that'll help you pick up some of the pieces you lost. When you recovered all these memories. Small goals that might help you get back into a flow, a creative flow. Sounds like you want to go back to school. Maybe some goals around that to help you make sure, setting big goals are overwhelming. You want to make small steps towards the big goals because small steps are achievable. You can see you can measure the progress on a daily basis. You set a massive because it's too big and too soon. But setting small goals, continuing the therapy, working towards letting go of that confusion. It's because it's not going to ever make sense, is my sense. I don't think it ever will. Things like this never make sense. Especially if we've lost someone that has the answers. And so that's where I'm coming from when I talk about working towards forgiving your grandfather just for you, even though you can't forgive him to his face. I'm really glad that you called in and shared like you did. Are you in our Discord server?
Not yet.
Might be a good place for you to get some good people around you. It's turning into a beautiful place where, people there just want to talk about. People there are in support channels, like all these different topics, and some people talk privately to one-on-one, and some people talk in groups, and there's people share pictures of their pets. Like it's a general conversation place, but there are people there that want to be supportive and have offer an open-minded ear, and might be a good place for you to get some support. I would love to hear some kind of an update from you. I'm feeling a lot for you. I'm really sorry to hear your story. We've tried to give you some thoughts to chew on. I realize none of it's easy, so I hope you understand. I'm not claiming that any of us here holds all the answers, or that any of us here think this is going to fix itself overnight, because certainly none of these would be true. But I do believe there's hope for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks for building, I don't know, helping build this sort of thing. I don't really know anything like this out there, so just hope you keep doing it. And thanks for all the laughs and from all the videos that you made. I really appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for using this place, and hoping to hear a good update from you. Thanks for calling. Good night.
All right. Bye.
More soundboards. I really got to change that hotkey. That was completely unintentional. Okay, guys, lines are opening again. I am so confused about these audio issues. I'm so sorry, chat. What is going on? Coming in, stand by everybody. I'm making some audio changes, getting more audio recommendations from YouTube. Let's see if this fixes the audio issues. Some things are making sense. Let's see. Audio bit rates possibly mismatched. If you're calling, I'm not trying to deter you from calling. We will be back to the calls in just a second. Feel free to keep calling. I just want to make sure everything here is peachy keen. Okay. Let's see if that works. I changed something on the audio. Guys, please let me know if you're experiencing any audio issues, let me know. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, thanks for calling.
Hi. Before I talk, I need to know, is it okay to talk about, like, self-harm?
Of course. We're as long as you don't give any names or locations, you can talk about anything that's on your mind. Can we start with your age and what's causing the self-harm?
I'm 28.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to make these soundboards go off. I'm really sorry. Soundboard.
It's okay.
I'm making inappropriate soundboard cues. I'm sorry, guys. Unintentional.
Okay.
I'm really sorry to hear about the self-harm. What's going on?
Well, most of my life, I've really struggled with self-harm. From a very young age, I would probably say, like, 10, I started really hating myself because I was sexually assaulted. And I'm autistic, and I've gotten really good about, like, hiding it or whatever as I've gotten older, but when I was younger, I couldn't really hide it. It was very apparent. And
Right.
then that assault happened, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to tell anybody. And then I turned like 13, and I finally realized what happened to me. And I just went down this downward spiral because I found out about cutting. And I tested it out. And then I found out it didn't really hurt. So I just kept doing it. And eventually, obviously, my mom found out. And instead of really being supportive for me, she kind of got angry at me and was asking me why on earth would I think that that was a solution or that that was something I should be doing. And I love my parents, don't get me wrong, but they don't really get me. And she just really didn't understand. And so she got mad at me instead of being there for me. And that made it worse because my parents, like, when I was younger, I wanted to dye my hair. And they wouldn't let me. And they were basically telling me that they owned my body or whatever, and I couldn't do what I wanted to do with my own body. So then I started to be like, oh, really? And then I really got into cutting because I was told I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And I was like, I'll show you I can do what I want to do then. But as I got older, I kind of got addicted to it. It's kind of like drinking alcohol, I guess.
Right.
The more you do something, the more you grow attached to it. And cutting can release endorphins and dopamine and stuff in the brain. And that's kind of what I needed because there was a lot of stuff going on that was causing me a lot of pain that I couldn't deal with. And eventually it got really bad because I had a girlfriend and she moved in with me and I lived with my parents. And things were fine for the first couple of years. But then 2017 hit. I was 23. It was the worst year of my life. because my mental health imploded. It was the year that I found out I had schizophrenia as well,
Mm.
which is a common thing. I looked it up. I Googled so much about this when it was happening because it was scary.
Right.
And it's common for autism and schizophrenia to be a combination. And it says that most of the time, autistic people will see their schizophrenia surface in their early 20s. I was 23, so I was like, oh, wow, I'm in my early 20s. And as much as I love my girlfriend, she's still in my life. We're still really close, but when I tried going to my girlfriend about it, she didn't believe me. And she told me that I was making it up because she knew more about schizophrenia than I did. And I was like, why does it matter who knows more about schizophrenia or not? Like, why doesn't it just matter that I'm telling you I'm like hallucinating bad?
Right.
And the cutting got worse because of it. And that was, I had a lot of times where I needed stitches really, really bad, but I never went to get them. And I kind of just made my body heal on its own. And it's just been rough. And to this day, I still struggle with self-harm. I still always struggle with the urges to do it. Like the last time I did it was a couple of months ago, and it was really bad. It was one of those times where I really needed to get stitches, but I just didn't want to do it because I didn't want to bother, because I probably have over 1,000 scars on my body, and I never thought it would make me self-conscious when I was younger, but now that I'm older, it totally makes me self-conscious. I'm afraid that, like, no one could ever be attracted to me ever again or want to be with me or anything, because I have so many scars all over me, and they could just be like, that's just gross. And it's just, I don't really get to talk about it a lot with people, how I struggle with self-harm
Right.
at all, because people just don't get it.
I think that's right.
And yeah, and they just don't understand, because unless they've been through it, they don't know what can cause somebody to do it. And I also struggle with alcohol issues as well on top of that, because I wanted to feel numb in 2017 because of everything that was going on. Because, like I said, my schizophrenia was surfacing, my mental health was really just declining, because I really needed a therapist. But at that time in my life, I was like, no, you're too weak if you need a therapist. Therapy would be stupid for you. You'll never get better. So I just didn't do it. I'm in therapy now, but
Good.
it took that year. Yeah, very good. But it took that year for me to just completely, I lost everything. It felt like my entire world collapsed around me, and it was really just hard to handle. And it definitely didn't help that I had a friend in my life at the time that was very, very, very abusive. Not like, it's not in real life, they were an online friend, but believe it or not, somebody can still be abusive online as well. Like, they can still be very emotionally and verbally abusive.
Right.
And she blamed me for a lot of things, and it made me want to hurt myself more and more. And it was just overall the worst year of my life. And then 2018 happened, and my girlfriend and I broke up. And I was devastated, because we'd been together for almost 8 years. And I loved her so much. I didn't want the relationship to end, but I was getting really bad because I was drinking a lot. I was drinking and cutting myself all the time. It was so bad. And I feel so guilty because she had to deal with it. She had to put up with it and witness her partner completely falling apart. And in a way that had to be traumatizing for her. And I feel bad, but like there was nothing I could really do because I was refusing to go get the help I needed.
Right.
And it's
How
just, go ahead.
how has the therapy helped? Has it helped?
A little bit, I guess. Like, right now I'm struggling with my current therapist because I feel like my current therapist doesn't really get me when I try talking to her. And that's kind of like she sometimes will like tell me things like I was talking about how I want to travel outside of the country, and I was talking about it with a lot of passion and everything, and then she told me, you do a lot of lip speak, but where's the actual action? And that's just,
Wow, your
I know it's
therapist
not
said that?
supposed to be. Yeah, my therapist said that.
Not a good therapist.
Yeah,
I
that's what
think
my
maybe
friend said when
you
I,
you might you might seek out a new therapist.
yeah, I probably
I'm
should
sorry.
seek out a new therapist,
I'm
but
sorry you had to hear that kind of stuff. I mean, a therapist is there to support you and to, yes, to challenge you at times, but not to say
yeah,
things that are degrading or to make accusations. Goodness.
yeah. Yeah, it was not fun. And I remember I told my friends about it after it happened, and they all just looked at me and were like, that is a horrible therapist.
Right.
And they also were appalled when I told them that when I first met my therapist, she had to ask me a variety of questions. And she asked me if I was ever sexually assaulted. And I said, yes, I was at 10. And her way of handling it was saying, oof, yikes, that's rough. And then she just continued on with the questions. And then my friends were like, that's what? You need a
S-
new therapist. And I was like, yeah, probably.
So you said you've been cutting since you were 10. When were
Yeah,
you sexually assaulted?
at 10 years old in the summer of, I don't know I don't know how to do the math for it. I rely on my phone too much.
It's okay.
I think it was like 2004. Yeah, it had to be 2004 because I was born in 1994. So it was 2004, and I was in a summer camp that was all around theater and acting and stuff, and I loved it. But that year was really hard because there was a boy that was significantly older than me. He was going to be turning 16 that year, but he was very fascinated with me, like enamored with me, honestly. And I now know it's just because I'm naturally a bigger chested female and I could sing. I had a good singing voice, and he really creeped me out because I was singing in the little like makeshift barn theater, and all of a sudden I felt breathing on my neck, and I just turned around, and he was just like, "Oh no, you can keep singing," and I was just like, "Yeah, no," and I ran away from him. But that entire summer, he targeted me. He was touching me inappropriately the whole time and trying to do things and force me into things and just overall really just harassing me. And I didn't know how to tell anybody because, like I said, when I was young, my autism was like really bad. I really didn't understand socialization. I still kind of don't, but I didn't know how to tell anybody what was happening. And my mom was the director of the camp, like she was the one in charge. So I
Oh,
would try telling her about it, and my mom was like, "No, honey, that's just friends, just friends." And I was like, "What? What do you
oh
mean
my
that's just
goodness.
friends?"
Oh my
Yeah, I know
goodness.
she understands it better now, but at the time she just said that was just friends, and I was really confused because I was like, "But I don't like it. It doesn't
Right.
feel nice. I don't like it at all." And then he really crossed the line where he got my number, like our house phone number, And he called me when I never gave it to him and invited me over to hang out. And my mom, because of me being autistic and stuff, it was really hard for me to make friends because a lot of people just hated me because I was weird. And so my mom was really encouraging of thinking, oh my God, you have a friend who just called you? Yeah, let's plan this play date.
Oh
She
boy.
regrets it now. But yeah, I basically went over his house, and then his parents were never supposed to leave, but they did. Like right after my mom left, they waited like 5 minutes and then they left. And then it was just me, him, and his sister. And his sister absolutely hated me because of one reason or another. She just couldn't stand me. So she left me completely alone with her brother. And he certainly enjoyed it. I didn't. But
So it sounds like this was the source of a lot of confusion for you. It sounds like this may even possibly have been the beginning of the self-harm.
probably
Have you ever
because
considered that or thought through that?
not really, just because for a long time, I suppressed the memories of what happened because, like I said, when I was 13, I found out, like I finally understood that he had done that to me, and I knew what it was, and I tried telling my mother about it, and she yelled at me really loud in the car and was just like, why didn't you tell me when I could do something about it? Why did you wait till now to tell me? And I just remember in that moment, I felt so small and was just like, okay, I'll just pretend it didn't happen. And then for years, I didn't really
Mm.
remember. And then it resurfaced a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh, great.
You
But
said
my
you would
mom,
pretend it didn't happen.
yeah, I really did pretend it didn't happen for a very long time.
I see. Yeah,
I think
that's
it made it easier.
right.
It's not, it's really not easy having to deal with something like that, especially at such a young age, because, like, I knew nothing about any of that, and it definitely made me want to really, really hurt myself because I couldn't understand why that it was okay or something. I couldn't understand why my mom didn't care. Um, I know now that's not the reason. It's just like you can't really be given a handbook to prepare to have a child with autism. Like there's no handbook for any baby when they come out to like, here, this is how you deal with this child. So my mom really struggled to learn how to deal with an autistic child, and I just hated myself. I still hate myself a lot, honestly. But a big factor of why I hate myself is because I am autistic. Because not only is autism like not common in females at all, it's just not, there's no one in my family that has had autism. So no one knows where I got it from.
Right.
And that just upsets me. And all my life, I grew up really hating myself for being autistic and being unable to really express myself or be who I wanted to be. For most of my life, I was kind of a hollow shell of a person. I was what everybody wanted me to be, but not myself at all. Like, I would constantly fluctuate between being the person that the people I was hanging out with wanted, because every time I tried to be myself, they didn't like it.
I
And they
see.
would tell me that I was acting weird. What were you going to say?
I'm saying there's a lot here. It makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
why you would suppress a lot of this stuff. Uh, Makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense why you would feel driven to self-harm. I'm not saying that, of course, the self-harm is not good. Of course, I'm not saying that.
No.
But I'm saying I can empathize, and it makes sense the way you've described your experience, uh,
Yeah.
why you were led down certain roads in your head. You said you hated the autism. There's a lot of beauty in autism. Are you familiar with the work of Temple Grandin?
Yeah, there definitely is beauty in autism, but I don't know. I've always grown up really resenting myself, and I have a lot of self-hate built up inside that festers a lot, and I take it out on myself, be it drinking too much, which is very rare for me to do now. I've actually gotten very good with alcohol, and I only ever drink socially, but I have moments where sometimes I will break, and I recently had a moment like that happen, and I hurt myself really bad, and I had to go wake up my housemates and be like, oh my God, what do we do? And they were like, you need stitches, and I went, that's funny, I'm not getting them. So then they just bandaged me, and I just feel bad because so many people, like, it doesn't just affect me. Like, sure, I'm the primary person it affects, but it also affects the people around me because they have to witness it, I guess,
Right.
or just deal with it.
Well, I want to be very careful because, your experience is really extreme. Uh, and yet you kind of dodged the question about
Oh, I'm sorry.
the beauty in autism. And I'm asking again because I care about you, and I hate to hear about the
Okay.
self-hatred. I hate to hear about the self-harm. But, what do you think it is beneath your hatred of the autism? Is it just that your family couldn't understand it? Would that hatred or resent or whatever you want to call it, that discomfort, be better placed on the experience your parents and family gave you, uh, as opposed to putting that on yourself? Because you can't help the way you are. I it's made sense at all,
You
but
cut out.
can you hear me? Am I still cutting out?
No,
Goodness
I can hear
gracious,
you
guys.
now.
I've had some audio issues tonight that I thought were over, and still wrestling with them. Let's try changing one more thing. Let's see what that does. But yeah, I referenced Temple Grandin, and I wasn't clear if you're familiar with her and the work she's done. I mean, she's amazingly powerful, influential woman with autism, with multiple PhDs. Uh, Steve Jobs would have been autistic by the new DSM criteria, likely Albert Einstein. A lot of people would have been, a lot of really influential, amazing people who contributed a lot would have been considered autistic by modern standards. And so it makes me wonder, I want to get to the bottom of what do you think that is, that hatred of yourself? Is it the autism? Could it be the fact that assault for so long? Could it be maybe a combination of those?
Um, maybe I I I always really hated myself, even from a young age. As sad as this sounds, one of the earliest memories I have was when I was 6 years old and I was sitting outside of the complex we lived in. And I was just sitting out there and I remember thinking exactly, why do I want to die so much? And I it was really bad. From a young age I've always kind of just really hated myself, and I think the assault definitely worsened it a lot. It made it so that I can't sing in front of anybody. I'm trying so hard to get better about it, but he literally targeted me because I could sing and I had boobs. And
Right.
it was just, and I guess another thing that really upset me was I would try to tell my mom, because she would try to make me sing because she loves my singing voice. And I would try telling her, Mom, I don't like singing because of what happened with the guy. And my mom would be like, oh, you're just making that up. Just get over it. It's not that big a deal. And it's because she didn't really understand, because I didn't really tell her that
Right.
that assault happened. So she just thought that I was just being shy or something. And I was like, no, man, I'm traumatized.
Right. You can heal from those things that happened in your past. It sounds like you've
Yeah.
come a long way without the care you needed, without the acknowledgement you needed from your family. I mean, you were young. Your mom was telling you to get over it and that it wasn't a big deal. What else are you going to think when you're that young? Um, but I maintain that I mean, at least I maintain that I believe that people can heal from anything that has happened to them in their past. Sure, we can't heal autism. We can't take things like that out of people's brains.
No,
Nor do I think we would
unfortunately.
nor do I think we would want to. I mean, there's so many beautiful contributions that come out of everybody. Everybody
Yeah.
has a comparative advantage. Everybody has something that they're here to offer, or to teach someone, or to be part of a story with someone. And I'm not discounting the hardships of autism. Surely there are many, especially in cases of nonverbal autistic people. Easy. Um, but the pain that you experienced, I mean, like, you're not nonverbal. You're here holding a very specific conversation about some memories you've recovered that were repressed for many years. So that
Yeah.
leads me to believe that maybe you don't hate the autism. Maybe you can take that off the list of things you hate from your experience. Maybe what's really bothering you is the fact that you've been your experience was invisible to your family. You were trying to tell your mom for a long time that certain things happened at this theater camp, and she wouldn't
Mhm.
listen. And maybe that compiled with the fact that nobody understood you fully as an autistic kid. Maybe all of that together
Yeah.
is causing you to hate yourself. And I hate to hear beautiful, whether no matter what they're born with. And yeah, there's some really difficult stuff people have to go through. I grew up with an epileptic parent who had grand mal seizures, so I know there are some things that confuse people that are not easy to go through. I'm not discounting that. Uh, However, you're here and you're holding a very in-depth conversation about some really difficult stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't believe you want to hate yourself.
I don't want to hate myself at all. I've tried desperately to find some way to even just be okay with myself. Like, I've reached a point where I'm like, okay, I don't have to love myself, but can I at least just be okay with being in my own skin? And I'm trying to achieve that goal, but like I mentioned earlier, I had this one friend who was really abusive, and she would tell me things like, you're just too fucked up in the head to get better. You'll never get better because you're just too messed up. You can't even begin. I hope that you and your girlfriend break up and you have to watch her be with someone else. And it's just like, she just told me god awful things.
Yeah,
And
it sounds horrible.
that definitely played a part in me hating myself even more, because she was constantly telling me that I was very awful, that I was like ungrateful, because we play on a game called League of Legends, and on League of Legends you can gift people things. And she used to gift me a lot, and then she would tell me I was being ungrateful if I didn't do what she wanted me to do after she gave me a bunch of things. And I'd
Oh,
be like, I didn't ask for you to give me these things.
it's called manipulation.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
my goodness. So,
I do not want to hate myself. You are spot on with that.
and I would go so far as to say that maybe, I would say most likely, you want to love yourself. You kind of hedged that a little bit earlier, saying, like, I don't even know if I need to love myself. I would say, I would beg you to love yourself, because no one can love you like you. We all we all are better people if we love ourselves. It's not to say you got to be arrogant. It's not to say that you got to think you hung the moon or that you think everybody should be just like you or something like that. But nobody can love you like you. Not a partner, not a parent, not any family member. Nobody can love you. That is to say, take care. Uh, do
I
you?
never thought about it from that perspective.
Sometimes when I'm going through hard stuff, and I know what it's like to go through a hard season and not be able to take care of yourself. Sometimes I talk to myself if I'm going through a hard time. And it sounds kind of funny. I mean, I talk to myself all the time, to be real. To be fair, I'm always talking to myself. But sometimes, like, if there's something I got to do and I'm dreading doing it, for example, if I've got something on my to-do list that's hanging over my head and I'm like, I can't do that, I pep myself up. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, look, buddy, we got to do this today. And I'll just get it done, you know.
Yeah.
I talk to sometimes I call myself buddy. If there's something I got to do and I don't want to do it, or if there's something I'm having a hard time with, I literally talk to myself in the mirror as a different person to pep myself up, to do the things I got to do, to care for myself the way I got to care for myself. And that helps me. It's just a thought. I'm not saying you have to do.
Yeah.
But I do sense there's a lot of confusion for you tied up in the things that were denied by your parents. Your mom discounted a lot from your experience, things that you tried to share, and you were a kid. Of course, your mom said it's not a big deal. Of course, you're going to just say, oh, that wasn't a big deal. I should just forget this happened. Of course, that's the response when you're that young. Um,
Yeah.
and your mom and your other family members didn't make the effort to understand your autism. And of course, that's going to be really problematic too and difficult for you. So
Yeah, my dad definitely didn't want to understand my mental challenges. I call them challenges instead of like disorders or something, because it's just a challenge I have to overcome every day.
Mhm.
But my father, for a long, long time, didn't believe me and once to my face told me directly that I was just making up all of my mental challenges that I have and so I could get out of doing stuff or whatever. And that really hurt because I don't know why anyone would want to make up having all of the crap that I have going on in my head, but my dad was convinced. But then we went to go see this one play, or I don't know what if it would be considered a play because it has music in it, but it's like I think it's called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Moonlight or something. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I butchered it, I'm sure. But it's about a guy, and they don't say it directly, but it's heavily implied he is autistic. And when I watched it with my parents, it was very hard for me to watch it because a lot of it was like I was watching my whole life play out before me.
Right.
And it was just really a lot. But it also made my parents cry because they got to see things from my perspective for the first time and like pay attention to things that I was pointing out. Like in the show, if you pay attention, there are these lights and they change based on the main character's mood. And my parents were like, I didn't even notice that. I was like, yeah, whenever he was feeling okay, the lights were green. Whenever he was feeling in distress, they were red. Whenever he
Hmm.
was kind of in the middle, they were yellow.
Hmm.
And my mom was like, I never would have noticed that. And I was like, I picked up on it right away. What are you talking about? And
Right.
my mom is like she's always been the biggest champion for me, being like, you're beautiful because you have autism, because you can offer so much to the world or whatever. And I've always been like, yeah, I disagree, but I don't know. I've come a long way, though. I can finally, like, I got into putting on makeup, and I can actually look in the mirror whenever I wear makeup for the first time in my life and say, I don't look that bad. So
Good.
I'm definitely making progress, but it's just, I really wish I still didn't struggle with self-harm. I wish that I wasn't, like, addicted to it, because every day I think about it all the time, and that really weighs on someone's mind if you're constantly thinking about wanting to hurt yourself. And I definitely don't feel like I can really talk to my therapist about it. I feel
You
like
need
I
to
need
get
to get a new one.
people in the
You're
chat
gonna
have
say I
said
need to
that.
get a new one?
I think, yeah,
Oh, you cut out.
it sounds like it's time to get a new one. I agree with you, and I'm not
Yeah.
alone. The chat's saying it too. Um, David Moore, who's one of our Discord mods, he's in the chat saying to you, taking up an instrument is a great outlet for someone who is musical. I think that could be a really good idea for you. You said you're trying to gain back some motivation to get back to that musical side, and you're not quite to the place of performing on a stage. Maybe getting a guitar or a keyboard or something like that. I don't know if you're a musician, but maybe learning a new instrument might be a good thing too in this season as you try to unlock some things that have been locked up for a long time.
That sounds like a great suggestion. I love music a lot. I constantly live with music. Like, I always have my headset on. Like, it's not like I'm listening to things 24/7. Sometimes I just wear them because it's what makes me feel comfortable, so that I can hear people around me and have a conversation. But for the most
Right.
part, I live constantly listening to music. And something that's really, really been helping me in my effort to try to love myself is the band BTS, the K-pop idols.
Right.
And
It's catchy.
it's not just because it's catchy or because they're what's popular. It goes so much deeper than that. Like, if you really dive into a lot of their songs, they have really deep, thoughtful meanings. And I did decide I want to try picking up Korean because
Okay.
I've always wanted to be bilingual. I've
Yeah.
always wanted to, but I felt like I'm too stupid to be bilingual. Like, I'm just too dumb that I could never be smart enough to actually learn another language.
Some good ideas of some things that could take up some time, some good ways to spend your time. These things, it's with self-harm, sounds like you're going to have to find some things to replace that in your life, some things that feel better, some things that actually build you towards a version of yourself that you love more. And that's kind of the tricky part of where it sounds like you are. It sounds like the self-hatred is feeding the self-harm, and the self-harm is feeding the self-hatred, because then it's like, well, what is there to love about me if I'm just hurting myself? And I wonder if there's this negative feedback loop that's been created that you could break through some small new habits every day, whether that's picking up a new instrument or learning a new language, doing some things like that, committing to some small goals like that, so that you can actually create some new things that you can love about yourself. And then you can look back and say, like, hey, look, last year I wanted to learn Korean, that I decided to go do something, and now I'm mastering it. Now I'm bilingual, or whatever it is. You might need to take some small steps each day to work towards some goals
Yeah.
that you can practically love yourself for, because that's the downward spiral of self-harm. Is people do it because they hate themselves, and then they hate themselves more because they're doing it, and it just feeds itself,
Yeah.
and it festers.
Yeah, they get in a cycle of, well, I'm already doing it already, so might as well just keep going because I'm a piece of shit.
Right.
Like,
So I
but
love that. I love
yeah,
that you have some things that you're fired up about learning. I think that's beautiful. Um, and
yeah,
I think
I'm definitely really fired up about Korean.
great, amazing. I love that. Being bilingual is a great goal. I wish I were bilingual. I wish I could just speak intentional rim shot that time. The only one here so far.
Well, honestly, that's kind of funny. I wish I could speak every language in the world that's ever existed, even languages that aren't in use anymore. And people always, like, they ask me, what would be your superpower? I'd like, that. To know every language ever and be able to speak it, write it, to just that. That would be my superpower.
That would be pretty baller. You just talk to
It
anybody.
really would. I could talk to just anybody and everybody. I'd understand anything. It would be awesome. But
Right.
sadly, I can't just make that a superpower. But I can at least try to be bilingual. Because it's always been a dream. It's just that when I was younger, because I also have ADHD, it was very hard to sit still and actually commit to learning a language. Because I was just
Right.
like, I need to move, Mom. I can't just sit. And another thing to point out, I forgot, is I was homeschooled all my life.
Hmm.
So that probably played a big part in why my relationship with my mother was very rocky. Because her and I would really go at it sometimes when it came to schooling, especially in my high school years, where I just wanted to like throw myself off the planet because I was tired of it. And we've gotten better now because I did achieve my New Year's resolution that I've had for years. I did finally achieve that last year in August, and I moved out of my parents' house.
There you
I
go.
now live
Amazing.
with I live with my best friend and her boyfriend, and we also have my dog. And I was so proud of myself in that moment because I was like, I did it. I've been wanting this for years, and I finally moved out. Like, that was a really big step for me.
That's a
I
huge
only
step.
live like 20 minutes away from my parents, but it doesn't matter.
That's amazing. That's that's something you can celebrate. There was an idea in the chat I
Yeah.
want to touch on. Somebody said,
Okay.
has the caller ever thought of, instead of turning to self-harm, to instead get out a pen and paper and write down all the emotions they are feeling? This is a good way you can help let it out.
I did used to do that, but the last times I did that, it wasn't very good because it was during 2017 to like 2019 where my mental health was really, 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 really rocky. And so a lot of my journal from that period of time looks like somebody that's mentally unstable, if that makes sense.
I get
Like
it, yeah.
it has that just view of being like, oh, you look at it and go, oh wow, that person's not well.
I
And
see.
so I did used to try to do that, but it didn't work out in the end because I would just write really awful things about myself. And I guess I could try it again because I'm of a different mindset now, and it might be
Yeah.
different now than it was back then.
Maybe trying again with only one rule, and the only rule being the goal is to love yourself and not hate yourself. If you haven't learned that yet, then I could see how maybe journaling could turn into something that's really unhealthy, and
Yeah.
if you do it to uh, if you do it to, with the goal of letting out whatever it is that you're trying to let out when you cut yourself, then maybe that could be good. I also think, I'm just mentioning. I try to mention ideas from the chat. I'm not saying that's like gonna fix up anything. I really do love the
It's okay.
ideas that
I get
that
it.
you. I really do love the ideas you responded to about finding a goal, learning a language. I think that's a great goal. Picking up a musical instrument, and I hope that you get something from a new journey like that. Um,
I do
thank you,
too.
thank you so much for sharing tonight the way that you did. I really hope that this was a good call for you, and want to
It
encourage you to
was.
call back. Call back again anytime. Line's always open for you.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll call back with an update when I can.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye. I think the caller was having trouble hearing me at times. Guys, I'm so sorry. The audio issues. Goodness gracious, what is going on? I thought I had it all fixed. Now there's more questions. Oh, man. We'll figure it out. It can't be that hard. This is a beast of a machine, so we will figure this out. It's probably just some button checked wrong or something. Guys, we are going to wind the stream down. It's 7 minutes till the end of the stream. I do not want to answer a call and then have to end it 7 minutes later. I cannot go late tonight, but I will go jump in the Discord and hang out for a few minutes with you guys to make it up to you. For a few minutes, I'll hang out, and then I've got to get back to figuring out these audio issues again and get the video replay up. So I've got a bunch more to do tonight, but thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being there for these callers. We do these 3 times a week on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And tonight we had Offcore as a moderator in the chat. Thank you, good sir, all the way from England, putting us all to shame with his superpowers of not sleeping. I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you do it. What an inspiration. Thank you, everybody. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's it. Yeah. See you on, what's today? Tuesday? I'll see you in 2 days on Thursday. Actually, I'll be here tomorrow, too. Just having some fun tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow and Thursday. I'm looking forward to it. You guys have a great night. Goodbye.